There we go. And we're going to poll question. Okay. And it is 5:30. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is me, Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers. Let's get this party started this morning. All right, on your own, you're going to inhale and exhale 3 times. Today, we are talking about finish what you start. That is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. You are going to need some note-taking materials as well as a secondary device. And hold on one second. I'm going to be right back because it is allergy season and I need to blow my nose. All right, I am back. Hair's in the way. Finish what you start. It's one of the 74 principles of real leadership. Go ahead and get some note-taking materials out. You can use electronic or paper. I'm old school, so I like paper and pen and a highlighter. You will need a second device because you will be following along on the website, and we have letters from Louise today as well. The website is turnarounddoctor.com. You can click on the 74 principles of real leadership and scroll down to the effective section because that's where we are today. And we are at number 6, finish what you start. Today we have a poll question as well. It will be available up until the end of the live. Feel free to answer that question. Let me write a note to myself to ensure that I post it. Because I decided right before I got on live that I was going to ask this poll question. Okay, so let's get this party started. Neurogenesis. This is how you start to create new neural pathways. Neuroplasticity is the neural pathways. Neurogenesis is new neurons. Neuroplasticity is how you create new neural pathways. And neuropability is when you combine both of those together and you wire your brain to personal accountability, which is the 74 principles of the 74 principles of real leadership, which allows you to have unlimited neural pathways to personal accountability. So that's the reason why you want to hold yourself personally accountable, because all neural pathways lead to what? Best. And today we are going to be using the executive function of our brain. It is the CEO of our brain. It's the frontal lobe, and it helps us do everything else that we need to do in order to use our brain as it was designed to be used. With that being said, let's get this party started. Again, finish what you start. Breaking down, finish what you start. Finish. I thought I was going to get this elaborate definition this morning. Good morning, Regina. Thought I was going to get this elaborate definition this morning, and I didn't. I looked up finish, complete. Finish means to complete. It's just very simple. If you finish it, it's complete. What is used in specifying something? So you're going to specify what you're going to finish, and then another simple definition, yourself. Finally, start. To begin or set out on a journey, activity in pursuit of a goal, objective, a mission, or a task. It's really just that simple. So to complete using something specifically, and then what you start. It's a project, an activity, a journey, a goal, an objective, a mission, or a task. That is what you do. That is how you finish what you start. Now, the biggest question is, why don't you or other people you know finish what you start? I'm glad everyone asked that question. And here is the reason why. The planning fallacy. And it was developed by Kahneman and Tversky. And I'm probably saying that wrong, close enough for today. But they wrote a paper in 1977. Some people say 1979. Again, when you're researching, somewhere around the late 70s, this paper was written, and it's called the Planning Fallacy. And what is that? Again, I'm glad you all asked. Your tendency to underestimate the amount of time that it will take to complete a task, a project, a mission, objective, or goal, as well as the cost and the risk associated with that task, even if it contradicts your experiences. So what does that mean? You think you're better than you are. You think it's going to happen faster than it is. You think it's going to cost less, and it's just going to work without no problems whatsoever. So that is what happens. You're like, yeah, I'm going to start a business and I'm going to be a millionaire. Today is Monday, 7 figures by Friday. What? No, it don't matter that I've never been in this business before. I don't have no background in it. I ain't got no startup capital or nothing else, but I'm about to be rolling in the dough on Friday. And then by Wednesday, you realize you ain't got what it takes. You was very optimistic, but it ain't gonna happen. Unless you go hit a lick somewhere, you ain't gonna get the 7 figures. And that still takes planning as well. So that's not gonna happen on Friday. That is the problem. That is why you cannot finish what you start, because you did not do the 7 P's. Prior planning and preparation prevents piss poor performance. And then you overestimated your ability. You overestimated all the things. And Kevin, you can appreciate this if you're here this morning. How many times have people bid at a project and woo, was they way off? No, and I always go to somebody's house. And the contractor, they're a year behind. They're 18 months behind. And then they didn't get the bid. They didn't get the permit. And so now we got another 3 months. And the materials is stuck somewhere on the shipping container on the Pacific Ocean somewhere. And it's going to be 2 more months. And then the truck broke down, the supply chain. All of these things are why you can't finish what you start. Now, that's a big, big, big project. But people that I went to high school with, we're 51, about to be 52, still don't have their first degree. Okay, we've been out of school 34 years. You could take a class damn near a semester and finish in 34 years, but finish what you start didn't happen. Didn't happen. Did not freaking happen at all. Why? Because they didn't understand what it was going to take. I have said this. I went to Cass Technical High School. It used to be a pickle factory. It was made in like 1907, 08, somewhere around there. And they tore that old building down. They have a new building, but the school is still there. Thank you, Jesus, because DPS, the Detroit Public School Systems, and closed a bunch of schools. It's still there. And so this whole school, Career Technical Academy, is a CTA, had a major and everything. And so I took all the hard teachers. If it was a hard teacher and it matched my major or the class I needed to take, I took them. Until I got to my senior year, second semester, I was like, okay, I'm done. I took Mr. Kovacic for chemistry and Ms. Dasgupta for English because I had had enough. But all the other hard teachers, I was there for it. And my GPA was a 3.02 when I graduated. Didn't make National Honor Society in time, as I've mentioned. I graduated number 347 out of 602. I was at the bottom 50%. And now only 6 of us out of that whole class got doctorates. Okay, so what happened? Everybody cheated. Everybody took the easy teachers they were getting notes from seniors and juniors and papers and all that stuff. I was like, I ain't doing none of that. First of all, I got a crazy mama. I'm a little bit too honest for that. And so what happened? We got to college, and college showed up and showed out. And they couldn't finish. Academic probation. Some of them ran out of money, but some of them ran out of mental capacity to be able to get that thing done. Because when you skip the line, you leave the skills and the learning and all of that, the study habits behind. So they did not finish what they started because of the planning fallacy. Oh yeah, I'm going to be an engineer. My cousin said she was going to be a doctor. No, that didn't happen. A couple other people thought they were going to be doctors. They ended up switching to engineer. I don't know why that is. But anyway, nobody finished on the path that they were on. Some people went on full ride academic scholarships and still couldn't finish. Athletic scholarships, full ride. Couldn't finish because college is hard as hell, especially back then. I know you got some stuff you can do now, but back in the day, we barely had the internet. Still had typewriters that had to type the paper. Still had to go to the library. Nothing was electronic. And had to go to the computer lab and sign in and sit there and type your paper up. So the point is this, that the planning fallacy says you are underestimating everything. If you are not answered the poll question, go ahead and answer now. But you underestimated everything. And now you're sitting here like, but I thought I was better than this. I thought I could get this done. And the next thing you know, it's taking longer, it's taking longer, and it's taking longer, and it's taking longer. And it leads you to be overly optimistic in the beginning. You are like, yes, I can do this. I'm ready. I'm motivated. That's why I hate the word motivation to this day. I'm so motivated. I'm so motivated. I'm so motivated. I went to school for 23 years. Motivation stopped around about second grade. When Miss Jackson, my second grade teacher, that was it. It was not fun anymore. She was strict. They had corporal punishment back then, so they could hit you in the hand with a ruler or a yardstick. It wasn't fun no more. Okay. Fun, motivation, all that was gone. You need way more this motivation to get all the way to the doctorate level. Point blank period. That motivation is gone, 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 gone. The novelty, the romantic phase, the honeymoon phase is over. I am 11 years into the theory of personal accountability, the 74 principles of real leadership full time. And let me tell you something. Motivation and optimism and not, you're going to need more than that. And so you have a disregard for how much things are going to cost, how much time it's going to take. And that is why you stop. That is why you stop. And I've had other videos that have said, well, you have to finish what you start. And here's why. And even with Nola, she knew if she started something, she was going to have to finish it. That's why she didn't start college, because I don't care how hard it was or how much she didn't want to do it. She's going to leave that mug with a degree or end up 6 feet deep. One of the two. But that was the only choice. So she said, nope, because if I go, I got to finish. And we have been that way since she was 4 years old, in terrible dance and ballet. I didn't like them little costumes. I didn't think 4-year-olds should have been in that with no makeup on. Whole point is, we definitely got out of that at that little bitty age. They had this little, in Virginia, they had on little tube tops at 4 years old with this little genie dance. I'm like, what the fuck is, what? They're 4. What are 4-year-olds doing in this? Well, this is so she got checked. We finished, and yeah, didn't look back at I forgot the name of the dance school, but she did do ballet and tap. The ballet outfit I got, but the tap outfit, one was not a fan of that. Anyway, she's done ice skating, soccer, and reading challenges and stuff like that, mile club and all that, but she had to finish it. So finish what you start. So the problem is you overestimate your ability to get it done. You underestimate the resources needed, to include time, money, people, and skill sets. And the next thing you know, you are over budget. And now you're sitting here like, a great example here is the Fontainebleau. And Nola can correct me if I'm wrong, but the Fontainebleau, not the one in Florida where you are, Virginia. I've been to that one. That's where Scarface was filmed. But the one here, I think the project started in 2009, 2007, and it just got finished maybe 2 years ago. Long time. 3 different people owned it. And it was just sitting there, steel beams on the strip. It's on the other side of the strip, the side closest towards the Golden Nugget, away from the MGM and all of that. It's very nice. It's an amazing hotel now that it's finished. It's right by the convention center, but it took years and years and 3 different ownerships before that thing actually got finished because of a bunch of different issues. So when you are starting something, you first have to ask yourself, am I going to finish this? Am I going to see this thing through until the end? Am I going to see it through? And if the answer is no, don't start that shit. If you didn't went to some, let's do this, we can do this. You went somewhere, got invited to something. Somebody says, yeah, you're going to be able to make $50,000 by tomorrow. This is quick. All you got to do. As soon as somebody starts a sentence with all you got to do, I tune in that shit out. Because it's never all you got to do. Though that's a disclaimer. Yeah, all you got to do. That's loser speak, because they want to make it seem like it's simpler than it is. My mother told me, go to college. She made it seem like I was going to the doggone in and out 7-Eleven, picking up some little snacks and coming back home. I got there like, this is bigger than go to college and come home with a 4-year degree. A lot of steps in between there. So when someone says that all you got to do, steer clear, run in the other direction, because you either going to be out of a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of time, and a lot of resources, and you still ain't going to have what you said you was going to have. You sign up for a 30-day challenge with me, everything I said is happening, it's going to happen. And if you got to restart, you're going to restart. And when you finish your full, complete 30 consecutive days, on the 31st day, bada boom, bada bing, here's your certificate, what you about to do. You finishing or you're done. That's how it goes. So it is simple, but all you got to do, steer clear. So you decide you're going to do something and you haven't planned it out. You didn't play that movie out. You didn't do the what if, best case scenario, worst case scenario. No, one thing that Nola can't stand about me, or it gets on her last nerves, is when we are starting anything. And I sit there, we have the idea, we have brainstorming sessions. We've been doing this since she was in elementary school. Yesterday, she showed me the new business cards for Symbol Sports. And Moo is we love Moo business cards. I don't do business cards anymore, but I believe Moo has the best business cards. And I know you can go to, well, I forgot the other one that everybody uses, but they're rounded, they're thick, and here's one. Look at me. So they're round. So this business card is from 2014, and it's still got a little gloss on it and everything. And I like the rounded cards, and they usually have a quote or something on the back. So I like Moo business cards. And you're like, how is that just sitting there? It's in my Real Leaders Wear Pink book, because that's how old the book and the card is. Anyway, it's a great process. And so we had initially draft the Moo business cards, and then we had a bunch of work. And so now it's time to actually, because she still has a digital card and a sign on the back of her vehicle. So now it's time to order those cards. So I looked at them and I was like, something's missing. And so I'm saying, change the font, Vistaprint. That's what it is, Vistaprint. And so, and here is a Vistaprint card, because I use them as bookmarks, because I don't, so here's my old Vistaprint card. So see the difference? So let me, hold up, because they're marking different things in books on my desk. So see how this is glossier and thicker and doesn't bend, and look at me doing it. And so it's not glossy, and even though it's two colors on both sides, it's not the same quality of a card. So this one is better than this one. There you have it. If you're still using business cards, that's why I like Moo better. A little bit more expensive, but it's worth it. So my point is, it was time. I'm looking at the card and I'm changing the order of the services, and decision making is and it's helping athletes make better decisions for schools and programs and things like that. I'm still working on decision making. And so she's like, I haven't eaten. I thought I was just coming here to show you the card, and now here you are regrouping and changing colors. And you just always do that. Why do you always do that? And I told her it's because I'm planning the movie out. I'm 2 levels up. So 7th Avenue, we do the modular couches for them. They're a new company. They're having some issues with their supply chain, their manufacturer, and I explained that to her. It was a great idea. 2 friends came together. One of them is a designer. The other one is the business, the doing the business. So together they're the show and the business. But they have some issues with their supply chain. They have some issues with their communication from a customer perspective, and so they're working those kinks out. The company is less than 5 years old, and that's because they didn't sit down and say, well, what is this going to look like 2 years from now? Mark Zuckerberg gets a lot of credit for Facebook, but if Sandy hadn't come in, pre-existing CFO or COO, and made the company what it is, there would be no Facebook as we know it now. That's why when I was a second lieutenant, they give us an E6 or E7, been in the Army 12 to 15 years, because I might be in charge, but I still have, they got more time in the latrine than I had in the Army. That's what they used to tell me. So you actually need to have a sound strategy for whatever it is that you're going to do, whatever it is that you're about to start. I don't care. When I started my reading challenge, I had to sit down and say, okay, I saw The Equalizer. It was 100 books. I went home. I said, hell no, I'm not reading these books. I'm going to do this, but I'm not reading this much literature. No, I will stick some burning skewers in my eye and say, fuck it, stick a fork in me, I'm done. I'm not reading those books. So I ended up having a conversation with a colleague, made it a business professional book, so personal development and business books. Let's see if I can do it in a year. Bada boom, bada bing. And I had to have a format. So I was using ebooks, audio books, and printed books as well. I was doing library books and Barnes & Noble books just to see how it was going to go. And then decided that I just like doing paper books in my hand. I want to touch it and be in my hand. Yeah, and Zuckerberg stole the original idea too. So he gets credit for being a genius, but the only thing he was good at is it was grifting and stealing. Yeah, I said it and don't really care. And yeah, which is why there hasn't been another idea, and he's just acquiring companies at this point. Well, it seems like that's what he's doing, but the team, the board, the people behind them are doing it. Anyway, the point is this. So I started the book challenge. I'm in my 11th year of book challenges. It has changed how I'm presenting it, and everything has changed. The level of the books that I'm reading has changed, but I'm still committed to it. And when I started, it was 100 books. 100 books. It was called 101. Let's see if I can get 100 books read in a year, which is 2 books a week, basically taking a break in week 26 and week 52, and then doing book reviews on it. And now I'm 11 years in. Now, if I had just did 101, I finished what I've started and I'm good to go. But now I'm continuously doing it because I saw the benefit of reading. I'm like, wow, I get all this information. And then once I realized I go to the Sahara Library, because the average person only reads 1 nonfiction book a year. And now I can get these very expensive books for 50 cents, $1, $2, and go to Savers. So I haven't been to the real bookstore to buy a real book in a minute. I think I've gotten in 11 years, I probably got 5 books off of Amazon. And the rest of the time, all the books are used. And I'd say this, and I've said this before, I have a rare book collection because the people who purchased them rarely read them. So no marks, no nothing in them, and almost like new condition. And I get to read my books at definitely a discount rate. If you go to Savers on Monday, 50% off. So I could leave Savers with anywhere from 6 to 8 books and not have spent $10. Hardbacks, everything. So there you have it. That's a plan, a finish what you start strategy. So if you are going to start anything of substance, you have to sit your behind down and say, how am I going to get this done? And don't estimate your abilities. Take in outside information. And so with NOLA, we looked at where are the gaps in the sports advising industry? Where are the gaps between the agents, the coaches, the parents, and everywhere else? Where are the gaps? Because if you're trying to do what everybody else is doing, Dame Dash said, never hustle on a crowded block. It's not going to happen, okay? So where is your blue magic? Anybody that saw American Gangster understands what I'm talking about. So how do you eliminate third parties and what do you have to do? And so we found that gap where it actually is, what athletes are not being seen. How do you get the right athlete at the right school? What are coaches actually looking for? How do you put a whole package together film-wise to have that person, have the coaches and the recruiting staff see what they need to see to say, yes, that person needs an offer. How do you get them on a plane to go do a visit? She has figured all of that out. And now it's just a matter of making it scale at a higher level. Because there are gaps and people are saying, well, what's wrong with sports? Why are sports so bad? We figured it out. There's no more grit. You just have nice little good kids going to play sports, never got in trouble, don't have any grit or anything. And that's why the shit's so boring now. Because it's just like they're just going to do their job. And that's why you got all this other stuff around it. Because the actual sports themselves, if you watch it, everybody's in the audience on their phones and stuff. Because it's pretty boring and not entertaining. You don't even have anybody creating anything. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with the sky hook and people jumping over each other. Emmitt Smith back in the day doing his thing. We don't really have that. If you look at a whole game, it's kind of like, eh. So, I mean, we've been in people's houses with 4 different TVs on at the same time watching 4 different games to kind of get that dopamine boost. I digress. The point is that finish what you start. So it's all this upfront work that you need in order to be successful. When NOLA first started, assembled, and we had all the IKEA manuals at home. Every time we did an appointment, we took the manual with us so that she could get better and better and better at assembling to get that time down. And then a client told us that all the manuals are online, so then we didn't need to keep the manuals anymore. And now we really don't even need the manuals because IKEA furniture is actually simple compared to the rest of this. So finish what you start. We go to an appointment. We have 3 appointments today. We're going to go to those appointments. And unless there's a manufacturing defect or something that we can't go pick up from Lowe's, all 3 of these appointments are going to be finished today. When we tell somebody this is how long the project is going to take, she estimates the hours. When we get there, always adds an extra hour just for fluff time, manufacturing defects or things like that, poor contractor work, and we finish within time. Most of the time, it's earlier than that. So finish what you start. And again, just like with yesterday, I had a list of how to finish what you start. Before I move on to how. What questions do you have about the definition of finish what you start or the planning fallacy? Which is you think shit gonna go better than it is, and you overestimating your abilities and underestimating what's actually gonna take place. So what questions do you have about defining finish what you start or why people don't finish what they start, which is the planning fallacy? Kevin has no questions. No questions from Noah. Okay. So once again this morning, I find myself saying, I need to give you step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because that's what programming says. So I am going to give you that, but then I'm going to actually give you the real deal. So what I wrote down initially, that's why I have to get up 2.5 hours before the live, because I have one idea and then by the time I hit the live button, that still be the idea. So planning fallacy crops up a lot. All kinds of things can interfere. Got to stay in the frontal lobe. Yes, it does. Definitely. And I didn't even know that this was a thing until this morning. So what I have initially is how to finish what you start. Be very strategic in your planning. And I've said that. Don't do anything without a strategy. That means what's left after anything is nothing. So as I've mentioned this, I don't go downstairs and get a snack without a strategy on what type of snack I'm going to have. Don't do anything without a strategy. Sit there and access your frontal lobe, as Regina has mentioned, because this is where the strategy and the planning is taking place. And don't make a move until you got a strategy. Now be flexible. You have to call audibles. As long as some of you have been here and the people that started in 2023 and the people that started in 2024, I have been calling audibles. I'm like, okay, I got some new information. Got to update. I'm an algorithm. I got to update. Because if you're not flexible and you want to stay with this plan, this idea, it's going to fail. Because you didn't, even if you played a movie out, you can have everything we have done, put furniture together, got all the way to the last piece, and it's a manufacturer defect, and there are no holes on the side that you need to do screws for. So you have to be flexible, which is one of the 74 principles of real leadership, and you got to get really good at calling audibles. Next, you need to be willing to update the strategy. If I had the same strategy that I had when I first started, and where is that card at? So when I first started, here we go. This is my first business card. Dang it. I'm going to have to mark that page again. So this is my first business card. And it's called Answers Are Us. And it says, Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers, I was a professional problem solver, y'all. And I was doing, look at this, individuals, professionals, and business owners. And the tagline was, why worry when we can fix it? Why worry? And I have videos with that on there. So then I moved on. I think is this strategic advising? Yes. So then I was a tactical strategist. And so I was doing strategic advising. And so Answers Are Us tagline moved to we get results fast. And FAST was an acronym. And what the services were at that time was tactical planning, strategic growth, business consulting, and organizational development. Then it went on to Whitworth Industries and some other things. But underneath all of it was still the principles of real leadership. And even when I was working with clients in the chamber and speaking and doing all these things, I kept being me, and the objectives were still the objectives. And then it just all came together, and I realized you just need, because people, oh, you're so good at this, you should do this. Oh, you're so good at this, you should do this. Oh, you're so good at do this. But what I'm really phenomenal at, what I was born to do, was neuropability, to teach adults how to use their brain to become personally accountable. So if you want to go be a public speaker, if you want to go be a business owner, if you want to be a sports advisor, if you want to work with children and youth, I'm telling you the foundation that you need to be best, which is more advantageous and value added than me going to speak and motivate a group of managers and bankers so that they can hit the number and hit plan and be very profitable and deliver double-digit profits to Wall Street. It's a bunch of other people out here saying that. But there is no other person on the face of the planet Earth that can teach you how to use your brain in a way that makes you best and everybody around you best too. But I had to get here. So if I had started with that original plan, I started out doing websites for people. I'm not doing that anymore. So I've done a myriad of things. I have that experience, but now I know how to tell people what to put on their website. I know how to tell people to do their 30-second elevator pitch. I know how to tell people this is how you get a contract with a corporation. So I had all of those experiences and all of those. The Alchemist is a great book. You got to go all the way around to end up back where you started, which for me is right here on YouTube. But I had to be flexible and willing to call audibles. Otherwise, I would be somewhere getting booked right now, getting on a plane and going to speak to a larger audience, saying some shit that I really didn't want to say, and then standing, yeah, you got my book. Okay, yeah. Hated all of that. Didn't enjoy any of it. This right here, love what I'm doing, getting the results, helping people, and I'm planting trees for which shade I will never sit. So you have to be flexible and call audibles. Otherwise, you're going to stop. And I haven't stopped. Okay. The next one is be willing to update the strategy. And that's what I've been doing. Updating the strategy to determine what is actually going to work. I think Google was a dating app. There were several things that started out as something else that ended up being what they are that we have today and then continue to grow. I mean, if you think about it, Amazon was selling books online in the late 90s. That's how it started. And now it's trucks everywhere delivering shit all kind of places. It's hubs. You go to 7-Eleven, there's Amazon lockers at people's apartment complexes, 7-Eleven, in Whole Foods, in Kohl's, return it here, return it there, and return it everywhere. People in their POVs dropping off Amazon packages now. So be willing to let this original idea evolve into something else. Number 4 is be realistic about what it will take. Your life. If you are doing something that has never been done before or has never been done in your family and isn't here, know that it is going to take forever, ever. And here's what I will say. If you have a product or a service that people want, it's going to take less time. But if you are actually changing human behavior, just put your boots on and keep them on, because it's going to be a long road to hoe. It really is, because people think you negativity bias and conformity bias, confirmation bias, and everything else. You are rewiring their brain. So it's going to take some time. Just, get patient, get some popcorn, hydrate, stretch, rest, because it's going to be a minute. And then number 5, the objective is the finish line. Always. No one starts a marathon thinking, if I get to the finish line, I'll get to the finish line. I don't, and the game isn't over till you see double zeros on the clock. No one is thinking, the finish line, that's overrated. Finish line. Finish line. Nobody wants that. No, you want to finish what you started. You have all this optimism, so finish it. And then if you don't believe in what it is, don't start it. Do not start it if you don't believe in it. If you are an employee, be an employee. If you are an entrepreneur, don't get no damn job. You're going to be trying to fix all their stuff and they're going to run you out of there. Like, this is my business. This is not your business. If you are an independent contractor, be an independent contractor. Do not go into something that you don't believe in. And I tell people all the time when they're talking about what they're going to invest in, I'm like, if you wouldn't use it and you wouldn't buy it, don't invest in it. I don't care what a good idea it is. Crypto. If you wouldn't use it and you wouldn't buy it, don't invest in it. And for me, if you can't go touch it, don't invest in it. If you can't go see it, don't invest in it, okay? The China hustle, the biggest lie on Wall Street is that this time is different. Stock is inflated, okay? It's not real. And I understand people are like, no, with the 401k and the blah, and I'm going to do it. I'm like, okay, cool. You better start doing your research on the bubbles and how everything goes up and it repeats itself every 10 years. So if you can't actually tangibly go and see it and touch it, then it's not real. It's too much. We're going to short the stock. Today it's worth this. You understand what I'm saying? You buy a car. The car is the value that it is. You drive off the lot and the blue book is going to depreciate based upon the miles, and that's it. But this whole notion of now this house is worth $500 million. Oh, the market shift. Your house is only worth $2 million now. Oh, there was a natural disaster. Now it's worth. So we see it, especially in Las Vegas now, that it's all these houses that used to be worth a lot that have deteriorated, and they were like 50,000, 60,000. And that same neighborhood houses are 500,000 now, 1.5 million, everything else, same house. All it was real estate came in and said, this is the place to be. And now the value has been extremely overinflated for something that's like, this neighborhood don't even have a gate. Y'all don't. Y'all got carports. 1 point what? With a carport? Y'all out your mind. But we did some renovations and we said this new area is the area to be in. And so you have some willing upper middle class, lower wealth people, that lower rich people that say, yeah, we're going to move into this house, 1.5 million with a carport or a circular drive with no gate and no guard. Anyway, that's my side note. So the point is that if you don't believe in it, do not start it. If you do not believe that if there's any doubt, doubt means don't. Listen to the gut. Remember, the gut brain is sending 400 messages to the head brain every day. So if the gut says, I don't know about that. If you sit down and logically look at the strategy and the math ain't mathing and the strategy ain't strategy, don't start it. So that's what I had from a finish what you start. And then that was about 3:50. So by 5 o'clock, it hit me. You got to wire your brain to finish what you start. You need a neural pathway to finish what you start. And I believe that this is about to be a trend. When you have a neural pathway that says finish what you start, the day I was tired, the other day, Saturday, because it's Monday, Saturday when I said, this first time ever, I'm not posting all the numbers, and I'm sitting there, told myself, you're not getting dinner and you're not going to sleep until you finish your posting for the day. You started at 4 a.m. and your ass is going to finish. You're not getting no food or nothing finish what you started. Finish it. Unless you are incapacitated or you don't have access to your phone, there's a power outage, no Wi-Fi or something, and your data is gone, you're going to finish this. So it is a neural pathway. It literally is. You got to have a neural pathway to finish what you start, because then you're going to do everything up front. You're going to be realistic about what this has to take. What is this actually going to take? And the what if. What if this breaks? What if there's a breakdown in the supply chain? What if there's no capital? We see this house. We drive past the 215. There's two houses in Spanish Trails. They're right off of the 215. And they were, I think the people work together or know each other because the houses are very similar. They get this California style up in the hills. California people that came just anyway. The point is, the first house got built and the second house has been over 2 years, and we believe they ran out of money because it's been sitting there. And they'll come back, do a little bit more work, and come back and do a little bit more work because the materials are available. This has been after COVID, but the project is taking a long time. And on our walking trail, somebody bought two houses, demolished them and made one bigger house. And we watched the house be built. Now, COVID, we couldn't walk outside for a while on the trail, so we missed some of it. But when it was done, we watched it turn into a nice home. And then you could tell when people got new money because they new moneyfied it. And that day I was like, this is, but we watched it, the project unfold and how much longer it took than it was supposed to take. And that's what happens. And the people finished it and the house is there now. And this other house will get done eventually. However, what was the strategy and what was the reason for it? And if you run out of money, should you be still? What happens if you go over budget? And Kevin, you can chime in now, but I feel like I would, if I ever did a new build, I don't think I ever would because I don't have any hair, but if I had any hair left, I think it would all fall out. I would incentivize people to get a bonus for finishing early. And the bonus would not be as much as if the project got overran, but it would be enough to incentivize the people for everything to get done early. And I would also say, don't start until you have all the materials. So let me know when all the materials are in. Here's where you can start. And for every day that you finish before the date, here's what your bonus is going to be. I believe, and you can tell me because you do a lot of reconstruction and new construction, that will change the game. And if I'm wrong, I can be wrong, but that's just a theory that I have when I'm just looking at everybody and hearing about all of their horror construction stories and everything else. So the point is that you need to wire your brain to finish what you start. Now, how do you do that, Dr. Donna? I'm glad you all asked. You start with small projects. I am going to finish a book a week. Just wire your brain to get up every day, take the pages of the book, divide it by 7, read in the morning, read in the afternoon, and finish small projects. I'm going to paint a picture. Once a week, I'm going to paint a picture. And then you move on to medium projects. I'm going to read 4 books in a month, once a week. That's the practice and it's still a struggle. Got it. Okay. now you've challenged me to get these contractors in order. Okay. Roger that. We had a client who literally didn't have doors in their bedroom for 4 months during Christmas and all the cold months because the contractors did not get the permit before they knocked the wall out. Okay. And then we just had somebody we did a 7th Avenue for. The person did not get a permit to do the flooring in their house, and now it's separating, and so now they're in dispute with who did what. So yeah, because the sub on the sub on the sub on the sub to do the work, and then the shoddy work, who's at fault at that point? Yeah, that's happening. So you do a small project, then you do a medium project, and then you start doing larger projects. The example that I use is when I started posting on social media, I was once a day, one post a day across multiple platforms, moved it up to 3, moved it up to 5. Now it's anywhere from 14 to 17, depending on the day, depending on the length of the videos, and it's across multiple platforms. But I didn't start out that way. Started out with OPC, other people's content, and then moved on with my book challenges. I started out with simple reads, and now I read books that it's just like, yeah, nobody else is going to read that book. You can go ahead and recommend it, but I don't know who else. I'm not going to share anybody else is going to read that book. Wiring a neural pathway. Start with something small. Do that 3 to 4 times. Move up to something medium 3 to 4 times over time, and then get to your large projects. And everything doesn't have to be large. You don't have to keep building houses. You could just say, I'm going to start a foreign language. I'm going to start stretching 3 days a week. But when you don't have the neural pathway, in addition to the planning fallacy, I'm updating this because this is from 1977. Hell, I was 4 years old. Now I'm about to be 52. I'm updating it, and I'm saying, in addition to the planning fallacy, you need the neural pathway. Neurogenesis and neuroplasticity, neuropability is how you start to do these things and keep them going. Because when you have it and you know how to do it, I went 7 years without cooking after my marriage. I said, I'm not cooking, I'm not doing this. And then I started cooking again, and I know how to cook. So it's not, I just need to, if I need to update my pots or my recipes, I can do that. But the skill set and the ability to cook, that neural pathway is there. So once you have the neural pathway to finishing what you start, every time you start something else, the brain says, hey, we're about to start something. That neural pathway says, okay. Now I understand use it or lose it, but this is a skill set. Finishing what you start is an actual skill set versus if you don't speak German every day, you might be able to lose your ability to speak German. This is actually a skill. I would say continue to do it too, but as soon as you start something, and that's challenging yourself as well. When you challenge yourself, that means you're going to start something new. So this is why I'm saying neuropability is so important to you, because you start combining the principles of real leadership to get things accomplished, and that's what makes it limitless. What questions do you have about how to finish what you start? How to do it? And then one more question I have for you, Kevin. Do you believe that if everyone in construction was holding themselves personally accountable on the daily basis, that projects would go over budget, over time, and not meet standards? And then at this point, go to the social media tab and scroll down to letters from Louise. And you can answer this question after you read letters from Louise as well, Kevin. You're going to scroll all the way down to energy. Energy is today's poem. And when you finish, ... to let me know you finished and that you are typing up your initial response, reaction, thought process, all of that. So letters from Louise. Well, actually, social media tab, letters from Louise, 3 from the bottom. Tap on that, get to letters from Louise, scroll up, and it's all about energy. If everyone will hold themselves accountable, these projects will move along faster and cost less money for the builder. Okay, great. Thank you for that. I believe that to be true, and now I know from firsthand a person who has to experience it consistently on a daily basis. Because we just get to the thing and we have to hear the contractor. We had a contractor. We had to fire our first contractor. Yeah. It's like, okay, got it. We work with contractors. Well, we're in the same facility with them while they're working. And yeah. I do not have shea butter on here. You just discovered you can talk, type your message. Uh-oh. All right. There you go. It's on and popping now. I actually have a 60-second strategy, I think, that says start pressing buttons and see what happens. I don't do check marks because then it's going to throw me off of the other two lives today. So are we there? Energy. Letters from Louise. I feel like I'm looking in the mirror. Technically, I kind of am. Me and you. Energy. Energy. All right. Energy is the poem. Medium says it's a 1 minute read, and I believe them. Hazel, I have a question for you. If you were in school and the teacher, the instructor was instructing, and you walked in the class, would you have said, hey, Dr. Donna, can you say hi to me? I'm new. Would you say that in person? Would you do that? Would you walk up and say, can you say hi to me? I'm new. Or would you say, excuse me? Would you raise your hand and then say, excuse me, knock on the door? Kevin says, energy is a source. Good morning, Lola. Especially if you know. Energy is the source of many actions. Nola, as time goes on, I have understood energy more, transferring it, being drained of it, conserving it, how it can be an inanimate object. Energy is so powerful, being drained, right. And I'm almost inclined to write, and I actually don't have time for this, but I'm almost inclined to write an ebook on live etiquette. I really am. Especially for people just passing through, seeking attention. I know you had a typo. And one other thing before I move on. So I was thinking, I read this idea by Nola, and she literally, I couldn't even finish the sentence. And so I asked her, do you think I should be nicer? I woke up from a nap just thinking about it. And she said no. So everybody's nice now. That's why we're in the shit show of the world that we're in right now, because it's too many people being nice. And I was just like, maybe every now and then I could be a little bit tough. And so her answer was no. Just for the people who are here who attend regularly on the regular basis. Can you see me being nice? Regina, the theory is energy can never be destroyed, but the form can change. I think it comes down to what and who you give your energy to. Sometimes it's exhausting and sometimes it's exhilarating. I concur. And I would add to what you're saying, Regina, just the last sentence, that the unaccountable people are the people that are exhausting our energy and stealing it and taking it away. And then the people who hold themselves personally accountable, there is this energy exchange that gives you more power as you leave. Definitely. There, we know we can trace you get home, and that TikTok sound of Marlo saying, "Today drained me." It did. And all you got to do is look at who. You can trace it back. Just take the power line and go and see. Just yank it back. Get your power back from them, because they are definitely the ones who have taken it from you. What's wrong with you? Why are you so tired? Really? Clutch my real leader pearls. If I start being nice, you calling the police to do a wellness check on me. Listen here, Clark County. Something ain't right. Something ain't right. You gonna think they cloned me. You're like, did she say motherfucker? She didn't say motherfucker in a month. That's not Dr. Donna. That is not, okay, all right. Group consensus, got it. Lola, I know you might be busy, but yeah, okay. I was just asking. You thought I was nice. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I meant like more nice, like, kind of like teacher nice. You know how you have the nice teachers at school, and then I don't really feel like I'm in the nice teacher category. I'm cool. And Nola said people will think I'm kind and all of that, but nice, not really. Polite too. I think that's probably it. But I was just checking. Okay, so no wellness check over here. It's all good. Yesterday, stay focused was the real leader principle. What did you do to stay focused yesterday? What did you do? That's why they put the blinders on the horses, so they'll just stay in their lane. When I was in basic training, we used to have to go qualifier on our weapons. We had a private that kept shooting at the other person's lane. So somebody came back with like 75 points on their lane, and the other private had 25. It was like, how? And then, yeah, needless to say, they needed glasses. I don't know how they made it all the way through MEPS and everything else, not needing glasses, but definitely had to go get their eyes and get those BCGs, those birth control glasses. I bought an ice cream machine, and my first attempt at making ice cream was terrible, but I worked it out. Is it soft serve? Because I worked at Dairy Queen and McDonald's doing the Sundays and the blizzards. Boy, I could make a good blizzard. The test of a blizzard is when you turn that cup upside down, no ice cream better fall out. And do my little cues on my doggone cups. Yes. I was a little bit heavy set on my daddy's side when I worked at Dairy Queen. No. Ooh, I would get my hamburger on my break and make my blizzard. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And I would make a caramel sundae with nuts at McDonald's. Yes, soft serve, and I understand why McDonald's machine be broken all the time. It's not broken all the time. They just need to clean it. You got to do you still have to put that, looks like Vaseline on it for everything to be lubricated for it to go through properly? Or did they update that? So what did you do yesterday to stay focused? What did you do to stay focused yesterday? I kept reminding myself that my life is simple. And even when things were popping up, I had to, because the one thing that I post so much on social media, I have been trying to figure out ways to stay just on my profile on social media, and the app will not let you do it. So things are just there. And so instead of me seeing and responding to it, I just went straight to my account. Straight to my account again and again, and I just kept saying, that's unaccountable, that's unaccountable, that's unaccountable. Go in here and do what you came to do. Just doesn't apply. And having to go back in and look at the neurosciences and the neural pathways and neuroplasticity. Updated it. That's great, because this was definitely the 90s. So that's awesome. And are you still using the mix? You pouring it in? How long does it take for the mix to go through so that it's actual ice cream by the time you get it? Look at me. Okay. I stayed focused on my real leader resources and did a better job of not drifting off and go into apps and doing other tasks. Yes, I agree with that. And then just Regina's answer. And then Kevin, you didn't send me that link to that video that you were working on, if you finished it. Okay. And as Regina types up hers, the real leader principle for today is finish what you start. It's there. Is it? It's not here for me. Dang it. The text function is a game changer. So Kevin is saying if you do hit your mic. Regina, I don't see it. If you could type it again. Under NOLA's. Nope. On mine it has Kevin updated, and it's not under there. So if you could try to type it one more time. Nola had the same problem yesterday. Or if somebody else sees Regina's, can you type it so I can see it? Because I don't know why this happens every day. I mean, we ain't even got 10 people on this live. Like, what's up, YouTube? Okay, that's what it was back in the day. It might have been 20 minutes back in the day. Yeah. And Nola says she doesn't see it either, Regina. Let's see if we can see it. Same thing happened to Nola on Friday, I think it was. Either Friday or Saturday. Okay, cool. And is this at your business, Kevin, or at your house? The machine. All right. So yes, the real leader principle for today is finish what you start. Finish what you start. And then as we close out, go ahead and type what you learned as well. And something is happening today. We've heard several sets of emergency responders. We have a busy day today. We're mounting, and more mounting. TVs and curtain rods and pictures. Oh my. 3 appointments and 3 lives. We took yesterday off. And the final question today is, what did you learn? And I learned that the definition of finish is simple. I thought it was going to be much more complicated than that. And that the ice cream machines have updated, but some of it is still the exact same. It's for the business, but my wife made the genius decision to deliver the machine at the house. We could try it out first before taking it to the store. Got it. Roger that. Well, you don't want the competition to know that that's what you're doing, so you want to perfect it at the house. Element of surprise. The element of surprise is one of the strategies for the art of war. Oh, I'm sorry. I got to ask the poll question. Thank you, Nola. But it's actually under what did you learn for the day? And what did you learn for the day? So that's what I have it. So it's under it. It's in the red. Oh, this white paper, y'all ain't gonna be able to see nothing. So it's right there. Nothing is coming across on computer. All right, Regina. Just send it to me. So at least at a minimum, not at least, at a minimum, I will have it. Again, the same thing was happening to Nola like 2 or 3 days ago. I'm not quite sure what's happening with YouTube. It is on their end that this is taking place. I can't imagine this many people being live on YouTube at this time of day, but possibly anything's possible at this point. So try your what did you learn today, and then I will post the results of the poll question. We can head on out of here. Hit 'em up, move 'em out. That's what my dad used to say. It's time to go. We're getting ready to go to the store and get some noun layers. And he used to make us, all 6 of us, my sister and my 4 cousins, walk down the street holding hands, singing "We Are Family. I got all my cousins with me" in harmony, to the corner store, where he purchased some downlighters for us and a Coke 45 40-ounce malt liquor beer for himself. Yep, my childhood. Gotta love it. Hollering to the end of the block to the corner store. Well, not hollering, but singing very loudly that song. I got all my cousins with me. Hey, 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 we are family. Cousin Lori was a soprano. Her and my sister, the rest of us were altos. Not able to save. Okay, great. Thank you, YouTube. All right, Nola said, I learned the part of finishing what you start is starting things you're interested in. Yes. If you are not interested in it, you ain't gonna finish it. You are not. So check your interest level. That's why I ain't still married. I was not interested in it. I was like, yeah, this. Nah, I'm not. Go right back to the courthouse on the floor down. Whichever floor it is, Virginia. One floor you get, we both went to that courthouse. One floor you get married on, the other floor you get divorced on. Might have been the same judge. No, it wasn't. Learn doubt means don't. Okay. And let's see what the results of the poll question are in the poll question. Oh no. Did it show the results? Yes. So 75% said yes. 25% said no. Total of 8 votes. Yes, I finished what I started. Because I need to know. And there was someone even asked the question on Threads the other day, do you finish a book if you don't like it? And I do. I got a lot of books on my book challenges that I don't like. And I told them the reason why is so when I come across somebody that actually liked the book, they can say, well, you didn't finish it because you didn't get to the end of it. And I say, yep. And here's why I don't like it. Let me pull it up on my YouTube channel. I can tell you exactly what I had issue with. And again, it has to follow it has to meet the Real Leader Bookometer. Which means it has to lead to you becoming your best. And it also has to lead to, it has to embody some of the 74 principles of real leadership and be value added. Be strategic in your planning. Okay, and then you said you answered the poll question. You finished what you start. If you'd like to explain your answer, you can. So today you are going to focus on something that you started that you need to finish. So if you're in progress of something, you're literally going to update the strategy. Look at it, assess it, see if it's still working. Oh, wait. Oh, that's nose. Okay. Yes, I do finish what I start, which is big for me because you have a bunch of incomplete projects. But with the symbol, I got to 2,100 projects in 4 years and thousands of assembled items and mountings. Yes. And that is definitely a testament to wiring your brain to finish what you start. So it can be done with 0 meds and all of that, no therapy and all that other stuff. That's not necessarily the best. Because it's ineffective on a good day. But yes, finishing what you start. And guess what happens after you finish what you start? Guess what you get? Which hormone and neurogenesis that you get? Neuropath. What is it? Yes, a hormone. it is dopamine. Yes, that is amazing. I agree. And we still talk to each other because you can't work with family in close proximity. Sometimes we literally be almost in a closet together. And both of us, neither one of us have had a 72-hour hold at Clark County came close, but hasn't happened. Yeah, we still together. Okay. But yeah, so you actually get your own dopamine when you finish what you start. You get your natural dopamine when you finish what you start. So you don't come getting it manufactured looking for somebody else to be responsible for your own dopamine. There are a few things I haven't finished in the past. Some of those I have regretted. Yes, and that's why I went back to go run track and letter just so I wouldn't leave high school saying I didn't finish. And then trying to, I'm my grades. That was the lie I told. Wasn't. My grades were bad, but that's not the reason why I quit. It was because I sucked. Didn't have it. I didn't play out the movie. I thought because my boyfriend was a state champion that somehow that was going to make me a state champion. That math wasn't mathing. Presently, I hold myself accountable and finish. Yes. And then Kevin, if you had anything before we get on out of here. So relook at the things that are in progress and update your strategy if you need to, and understand where you are and the stick-to-itiveness that it takes in order to finish what you started. I started on this journey of teaching adults how to hold themselves personally accountable. I am updating definitely by the doggone day. It feels like, well, okay, that didn't work. All right, let's do that. And I think it's just a glitch in the system, Regina, because even with Nola, she was literally saying, can you see it? Can you see it? But the message wasn't coming up. And it literally, and what's interesting is this takes place on TikTok too, and not really on Instagram because they don't really type as much, but it takes place too. So I think it's something in the code of how you write it in order for people to be able to communicate when it's live. Yes, but it happened to people on TikTok as well. So I think it literally is in whatever code they're using to make it possible for you to be able to type during the live that might be glitching out. Because it is still just code and a computer at the end of the day. Yep, so it happened to Nola. It's happened to people on both of these platforms. Hasn't happened on Instagram, but again, people are not that chatty on Instagram to a point where we're interacting enough for them to say, do you see it? Do you see it? But now that I'm doing Mental Mondays, we'll see how that takes place. Okay, well, thank you so much for taking time today to learn about your amazing brain. Kevin Hook, I like to see the finished product and then tell somebody about it. That's why I finish what I start. Yes, and you get that dopamine boost. So if you're looking for dopamine, natural dopamine, start something and finish it. And that completion is just going to be like, yay, this is a euphoric feeling. Because dopamine is just a rewards system for having accomplished something. Or you can get it manufacturedly, and that's why you got to keep getting it over and over and over again. And I find that when you actually do projects, the need for the dopamine is not as immediate as because you're getting the skill set. You're creating oxytocin while you're doing all the work, and serotonin if you're answering and asking questions. And now you literally get that nice little dopamine. So it's like a dessert at the end instead of all this whole bad food just shoveling in. If you eat nothing but desserts, then you don't really even have the benefit. It doesn't even feel like a treat. Now it just becomes this addiction. Gimme, 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 sugar, sugar, sugar. So dopamine, dopamine, dopamine. So now you have another natural way of creating dopamine. So in summary, ladies and gentlemen, you need to wire your neural pathway with neuropability for finish what you start. So then it doesn't matter what it is that you're starting, you're going to finish it. Now don't start it if you're not committed to it. You don't love it, you don't want to do it, don't start it. Because you are not, no matter what you do, the brain is going to override and say, we're not doing that. I don't want to do that. So if you're going to do it, sit down, be strategic about it, and then start it, and then finish it. Cross that finish line, get your dopamine, plus all of the skill sets and everything else that's going to come through having saw the project from start to finish. You could do small, medium, or large tasks and projects. You don't have to just keep going after these big, lofty things. You can say, today I'm going to read 20 pages. Finish it, start it, you're done. Today I'm going to wash the dishes as they come into the kitchen. So I'm going to keep the kitchen clean. I'm going to start with the kitchen clean, and I'm going to end the day with the kitchen clean. You can use it for everything. It doesn't have to be money or reward or any reward attached to it. Simple things. I'm going to stretch on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm going to salt my skin on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. I start it, I finish it. There you go. All right, I'm gonna finish all my food on my plate today. Okay, so I will be back, God willing, higher power in the universe, tomorrow, same time, same place, same face, a different t-shirt. You all go off and have a magnificent Monday. Take care and adios.